Chapter 2378. Under the terrifying power, a small area of the Leytein clan was flattened, which made all the onlookers' eyes pop out of their sockets. At first, he had barely managed to create one or two cracks, but now, he had actually destroyed the entire shield with one stomp. Such a terrifying power left them dumbfounded. No one had expected that Tianyun would have such terrifying power. They had thought that even if he could break the shield, it would take a long time to do so. Who knew that it wouldn't take a long time? With just one stomp, the entire shield was shattered, and the shock waves spread to the nearby area, killing many of the Leytein clan's disciples. Second stomp. Tianyun continued to step forward in the air. Just like that, he stepped on the void. However, the terrifying power pressed down from the soles of his feet. It was as if he had transformed into a giant foot that sank down heavily, creating a huge pit in the ground. Under the second stomp, another large area was destroyed, and there were countless casualties. Third stomp. Tianyun continued to step forward, and once again, another area was trampled away. He didn't care who was below, nor did he care who was running away. His goal was to flatten the entire Leytein clan. If they were able to escape from this area faster, they would be able to survive. On the other hand, if they couldn't escape, they would be trampled to death. How is this possible? He destroyed this formation with just one stomp? Supremacy, Heavenly Thunder, and the others found it hard to accept this fact. In their understanding, it would take a long time to break, or even impossible. Who knew that the next second, they would be slapped hard in the face? Stop! Supremacy, Heavenly Thunder reacted quickly. With a roar, he rushed towards Tianyun, wanting to stop him from destroying his clan. But just as he rushed to Tianyun's side, Tianyun suddenly slapped Supremacy, Heavenly Thunder into the ground, and he couldn't get up again. This scene was even more shocking. No matter what, Heavenly Thunder Supreme was at the middle stage, but he had been slapped into the ground and hadn't been able to get up since. They were either dead or severely injured and unable to move. Such terrifying combat strength made them suck in a breath of cold air. Gradually, they began to believe that Tianyun was capable of killing two super-powerful Supremes. Otherwise, how could he shatter the barrier with a single stomp and send Supreme Heavenly Thunder flying with a single slap? The Supremes who originally wanted to join hands with Heavenly Thunder Supremacy to deal with Tianyun, upon seeing this scene, felt as if their legs were nailed to the air, not daring to move even half a step. This level of power was terrifying to even feel. He was well aware of Sovereign Heavenly Thunder's situation. If even Heavenly Thunder Supreme couldn't withstand a single move, would he be able to withstand it? Break again. Tianyun stomped down again. Since no one attacked him, he continued to stomp on the ground. He stomped forward step by step, creating a huge pit in the ground. According to this situation, it wouldn't be long before the entire Thunder Clan would be completely flattened. Hurry up and activate the Divine Seal Array! The remaining Supremes shouted. They could only use their trump card. Very quickly, after it was activated, the ground began to explode with flashes of light. Soon, countless light swords rose from the ground and rapidly attacked Tianyun. It's the Divine Seal Array, the most famous array of the Thunder Clan. That's right. Once the Divine Seal Array is activated, I heard that not only can it seal gods, but it can also kill gods. The Thunder Clan isn't so easily annihilated. That's right. I heard that this array has even killed a late-stage Supreme Heavenly Star Realm powerhouse. I wonder if he can withstand it. If he can withstand it, the Thunder Clan will probably be finished. When everyone saw this array, they immediately recalled what it was. This was a very famous divine array of the Thunder Clan. It was also a great array that was meticulously set up by the various Supremes. Including the previous protective array, they were all used to deal with enemies. Now that it had been activated, if it still didn't have any effect, then everything would really be over. These were the trump cards of the Thunder Clan. If they released all of them, if Yi Tianyun wasn't annihilated, then it would be their turn to be annihilated. Just a last-ditch struggle. Yi Tianyun's gaze turned cold. His eyes were full of disdain as he faced so many swords shooting towards him. Even though these swords contained a terrifying power of thunder, they were still trash in his eyes. If the Thunder Supremes were personally controlling it, perhaps he would be a little apprehensive. However, now that it was a group of divine star venerates with ordinary cultivation, this great array was trash to him. Swish, swish, swish. Countless lightning light swords shot over. Yi Tianyun continued to take a step forward and stomped down heavily. The lightning light swords that shot over were trampled to pieces. Then, he stomped down on the ground again. Boom! The earth shook and the mountains shook. The divine seal array actually showed signs of collapsing. How is this possible? Everyone was dumbfounded. With another stomp, this legendary divine seal array was actually about to collapse. As for those so-called light swords that could kill late-stage Heavenly Star Supremes, they didn't have any effect at all. When some of them hit Yi Tianyun, they merely left faint marks on his body and didn't cause him any harm. Forget about the fact that they didn't cause any harm, they also couldn't stop Yi Tianyun's advancing footwork. He pushed forward ferociously and no one could stop him. Dong, 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 Yi Tianyun stomped all the way, and the divine seal array was half destroyed just like that. Now, only a little bit of the light swords that were released were left. They looked rather weak and didn't have the imposing manner they had before. It's over, it's over. The remaining Supremes turned pale. They couldn't resist Yi Tianyun's attacks at all. Now they looked even more desperate. If this continued, their Thunder Clan would definitely be finished. We surrender, we admit defeat. The Supremes shouted and began to beg for mercy. If they didn't beg for mercy, the Thunder Clan wouldn't even have dregs left. Yi Tianyun turned a deaf ear to him and continued walking forward step by step. In just a short while, a large area of the Thunder Clan had been destroyed. We will compensate you. No matter what you want, we will compensate you. That Supremes were on the verge of crying. Yi Tianyun acted as if he didn't hear anything and continued walking forward. Yi Tianyun still ignored him and continued walking forward. He said he would flatten the Thunder Clan and he meant it. He didn't say a single word of falsehood. All the disciples of the Thunder Clan were in despair. Only now did they know what kind of existence they had provoked. They didn't expect that everything was real. With Yi Tianyun's ability, he could really eliminate their clan leader. An early-stage Heavenly Star Supremacy powerhouse could actually eliminate a late-stage powerhouse. Thinking about it carefully, they had really provoked an extremely terrifying existence. Chapter 2379. The Thunder family was filled with regret, but there was no medicine for regret in this world. No matter how they shouted, Yi Tianyun didn't stop his attacks. Under the frenzied attacks, more than half of the Thunder family was flattened, and there were countless casualties. The remaining supremacy stared at Yi Tianyun with red eyes. After a moment, he roared, "I'll fight it out with you." However, Yi Tianyun's attack didn't change anything. Yi Tianyun punched the Supreme Master and continued to destroy the Lightning family. Now, the Thunder family only had a few Divine Star Venerates left. They had no way of resisting. Those who wanted to live could only choose to escape this area. Otherwise, they would die. Yi Tianyun didn't care about those who fled. He just swept through them. Those who could survive depended on their own ability. He couldn't kill them all. Those who couldn't escape had nothing to do with him. Zi Jinlong and Wu Yuanan had arrived long ago. When they saw this scene, they were equally shocked. They were filled with emotion. Such a big family, one of the top 10 families, was gone just like that. Yi Tianyun's methods were equally ruthless. If he said he would destroy them, he would destroy them. However, they admired Yi Tianyun's methods. When it was time to be ruthless, one had to be ruthless. Previously, he said that if they didn't hand it over, he would definitely flatten the Thunder family. The Thunder family didn't take it seriously, but this was the result. They had to pay the price. It's over. It's completely over. The Thunder family is finished. One of the top 10 families is finished just like that. I didn't expect it. He didn't even need to rely on the Purple Yen race or the Wu family to flatten the Thunder family. It's really terrifying. Their hearts trembled. At first, they thought that Tianyun couldn't deal with them alone. Now, it seemed like they were wrong. According to this situation, the Beifeng clan would probably be in danger. It seems like the Beifeng family is finished too. The two families are in a similar situation. I wonder if the Beifeng family can make it in time to come and beg for mercy? It should be in time, but we can only compensate them a little more. If he doesn't need any compensation and continues to raise the Beifeng family to the ground, that would truly be too terrifying. When they thought of the Beifeng clan, they shook their head. From today onwards, the Leitang clan would be removed from the list. The surviving disciples were basically unable to stir up any wave. They had no foundation and no experts, so they could only disperse. Even if they hated Tianyun, they would bury it in their hearts, not daring to show it. It's over. Everyone closed their eyes. With the final stomp, the Leitang clan was completely flattened. As far as the eye could see, a large area had been reduced to ruins. Not a single good house remained, having been razed to the ground. This was complete annihilation, and it made one's hair stand on end. The Thunder clan had provoked someone they should not have provoked, and the price they had to pay was complete destruction. The Beifeng clan hasn't arrived yet? Tianyun scanned the surroundings. The Beifeng clan didn't send anyone over to take a look. As for begging for mercy, there was no one at all. It was very obvious that the Beifeng clan was still very strong-willed, as if they were not worried that Tianyun would attack. Interesting. It seems that the Beifeng clan is also a tough nut to crack. Tianyun's expression was indifferent. This was somewhat out of his expectations. He thought that when the Beifeng clan saw this situation, they would choose to come over and beg for mercy. After all, the two clan situations were similar. Now that the Beifeng clan didn't come over, it proved that they definitely had some trump card that they hadn't used. Otherwise, how could they be so calm? Not only him, but the others also sensed it. According to this situation, the Beifeng clan wouldn't come over. In this situation, they still didn't come over. One had to say that the Beifeng clan was really courageous. The Beifeng clan didn't come over. Are they really not afraid of him? Maybe they also don't have the confidence. They would rather die than submit. Rather die than submit? If that's the case, then they are really amazing. They would rather sacrifice everything than compromise. They either thought that the Beifeng clan had the confidence, or that the Beifeng clan would rather die than submit. No matter which one it was, there would definitely be a good show to watch. After Tianyun annihilated the Thunder clan, he plundered all the Thunder clan's resources, leaving nothing behind. Many of them were destroyed by him, but he didn't feel that it was a pity. He wanted to establish his prestige here. He wanted to let all the forces know that he would do what he said. As for what he wasted, he didn't care at all. Guest E is really amazing. It seems like he's even stronger than before. The purple gold dragon flew down and said with a smile, "No wonder he didn't need our help. Just this strength alone is really shocking. Even I can't destroy that shield so easily." Yeah, it's only been a while, but I feel that he has become much stronger. His cultivation hasn't changed, but his strength has increased. He is really a genius. Even the hidden dragon sovereign from back then, with your cultivation, I'm afraid he wasn't as strong, right? Wu Yuanan also flew over and said with a smile, "I don't dare to accept that." Tianyun smiled and then said with a straight face, "Now that the Beifeng clan hasn't come over to bow their heads and admit their mistakes, I don't mind flattening the Beifeng clan either. Guest E, I'm afraid there's something fishy about this. Logically, they are like the Thunder clan, an arrow at the end of its flight. They can't raise any waves. Seeing you come over with such a lineup, they should come over to beg for mercy. But they didn't come over. There might be an ambush over there. The purple gold dragon's face also turned serious. Why don't we go over together to support you and deal with the Bei Feng clan together? Yeah, there must be something fishy about this. Maybe there really are many ambushes. Wu Yuanan agreed with the purple gold dragon and felt that there must be something wrong. No matter what kind of ambush it is, I will go. Yi Tianyun's eyes were filled with killing intent. I want to see what kind of ambush is over there. No matter what kind of ambush it is, I will break it. Yi Tianyun really wanted to see what kind of confidence the Bei Feng clan had to dare to do this. The two of them looked at each other. It seemed that Yi Tianyun was determined to go meet the Bei Feng clan alone. If that's the case, then we won't say anything more. I hope you'll be careful. The purple gold dragon and the others nodded heavily. Yi Tianyun cupped his fists at them and turned to fly over to the Bei Feng clan. The others followed him. How could they miss such a big event? They all wanted to see if the Bei Feng clan had the confidence or if Yi Tianyun could destroy the Bei Feng clan. Chapter 2380. A large group of cultivators followed behind Yi Tianyun. This group of people flew towards the Bei Feng clan in a mighty manner. Those who didn't know would think that this army was going to attack a big clan. After all, from a distance, it looked like a large group of cultivators were flying forward. There were all kinds of cultivations. If this group of forces really swept over, they would really sweep away many forces. Just the Purple Flame clan and the Wu family's Heavenly Star supremacy could suppress many forces. Soon, Yi Tianyun killed his way to the Bei Feng clan's area. The Bei Feng clan, like the Lei Tang clan, surrounded themselves tightly with a shield. It was just that on the surface, it looked very calm as if nothing had happened. It was quite strange. Looking from the outside, there was no one in the houses below, which seemed even more strange. No one. Yi Tianyun scanned around and didn't feel the slightest aura. There wasn't a single trace of a single person in this large area. This situation made them all stunned. How could there not even be a shadow? It could even be said that there was not even half a guard, and people could enter and exit the gate at will. As it wasn't completely sealed, there was only a passage left to enter without destroying the array. Yi Tianyun didn't think too much. He lifted his feet and walked into the passage, wanting to find out what was going on inside. The others didn't dare to follow him in. Who knew if the Bei Feng clan had some conspiracy inside? Moreover, this was Yi Tianyun's matter, so they wouldn't intervene. After Yi Tianyun entered, he scanned the area and really didn't find anyone here. Did they abandon the clan and evacuate? Yi Tianyun was a little dumbfounded. This kind of behavior was understandable, but it was too much to abandon the clan's foundation. They would rather abandon the clan's foundation than pay the price? Yi Tianyun admitted that he made them pay a higher price, but overall, it was better than uprooting their clan's land. Overall, the situation was still acceptable. Now, there was no trace of anyone, and the clan's foundation was abandoned. Under normal circumstances, there were quite a few special training grounds here, which were quite good. Moreover, this area was originally a treasured land of feng shui. It gathered the surging star power from all around, and cultivating here was much better than cultivating outside. These weren't things that could be easily taken away. They couldn't be taken away even if they wanted to. But now, half of them were gone, which made them feel very strange. They wondered if they had encountered some problem. This is the Bei Feng family's confidence? They all ran away? This is really a waste of my expression. I thought there would be a big battle, who knew that they would all retreat. This is too funny. This is completely out of our expectations. The cultivators who came did not expect such a situation to occur. In their minds, they imagined many possible scenarios, such as Yi Tianyun destroying the Bei Feng clan, or the Bei Feng clan annihilating Yi Tianyun. They had even considered the possibility of both sides suffering heavy losses. But they never imagined that the Bei Feng clan would disappear and flee. After all, the Bayphone clan was one of the 10 great clans. If they fled just like that, wouldn't they care about their reputation? There's no need to look for them. The Bayphone clan has become a dog of the Divine O clan. At that moment, a man suddenly appeared on top of a palace at the side. He kept playing with a dagger in his hand and smiled wickedly. He looked at Yi Tianyun with a frivolous expression. Yi Tianyun turned to look at him, and his eyes narrowed. This guy hid his aura very well. He didn't notice him when he was scouting outside just now. When he came in, he realized that someone was waiting there. However, before he could say anything, the other party had already walked out. Divine O clan. Yi Tianyun knew what kind of clan the Divine O clan was. It was one of the top 3 clans. To be precise, it was the second clan. There were many Heavenly Star Supremes, and they usually didn't get involved in other matters. Many people were surprised that the Bayphone clan had joined the Divine O clan. How could such a big clan join the Divine O clan just like that? Even though 2 of the Bayphone clan Supremes were killed, they were still the Bayphone clan. If they continued to decline and joined another clan, they would be like a dog. After all, joining someone else's force usually meant that one's future would be very limited. This was especially so when they used to be on equal footing, but now they would become a subordinate. However, the Bayphone clan had joined just like that, and the Divine O clan had also sent an expert over as a gesture. The man in front of them had a very strong cultivation. He was a late-stage Heavenly Star Supremes and was much stronger than ordinary Heavenly Star Supremes. From the looks of it, he seemed to be using a concealment technique that allowed him to easily conceal himself. Yes, I'm from the Divine O clan. Zhong Xian straightened his body and said indifferently, "This matter ends here. You can do whatever you want in this area. As for the Bayphone clan's matters, it's none of your business." This treasured land was pretty good. If he occupied it, he could slowly build his own force. The facilities here were rather complete and could be used easily. This would save him a lot of time. On what basis? Yi Tianyun did not buy it. If he really wanted this piece of land, he would flatten the Thunder clan. He wanted an explanation. On what basis? On the basis of our Divine O clan. Zhong Xian leaned forward slightly and sneered. What do you think? Do you want to make a move on the Divine O clan? He smiled, revealing his pearly white teeth, but it was a chilling sight. The Divine O clan definitely had their own capabilities to be the second largest clan. Not to mention the 9 Star Supremes, they had quite a few late-stage Heavenly Star Supremes. Nobody knew how much power they had. After everyone saw that it was the Divine O clan who interfered, they shook their heads and felt that this matter would not go on. Zi Jinlong and the others passed through the passage and came in. They did not look too good either. They did not expect the Divine O clan to choose to interfere. I admit that the Divine O clan is not bad, but I'll say this. Either the Divine O clan hand over the Bayphone clan to me, or I'll flatten the Divine O clan like the Thunder clan. Yi Tianyun's eyes were cold. What bullsh *T Divine O clan. As long as they stood in his way, he would flatten them all. Everyone was dumbfounded by his imposing manner. This was the Divine O clan, not an ordinary clan. Yi Tianyun actually dared to declare war on the Divine O clan. Was he not courting death? Chapter 2381. Everyone thought that Yi Tianyun would choose to admit defeat and not pursue the matter with the Bayphone clan. After all, the Divine O clan had chosen to protect the Bayphone clan. If he continued to pursue the matter, it would be tantamount to going against the Divine O clan. This wasn't a simple matter. Given how powerful the Divine O clan was, nobody knew the details of the situation. What was recorded outside was only superficial information. The fact that they could remain standing here for so long meant that they had their own capabilities. Under such circumstances, it would be irrational to have a conflict with the Divine O clan. However, Yi Tianyun still dared to do such an irrational thing, and he even declared war on the Divine O clan. Ha ha ha, you're indeed a tough nut to crack. I heard that you killed the clan masters of 2 great clans. You're so young and your cultivation level is not high, but you were able to kill people above your level. I don't know how they were so trashy that they couldn't even deal with a kid like you. Zhong Xian sized him up disdainfully. But thanks to you, they were so scared that they immediately pledged allegiance to us and agreed to any conditions. You've saved us a lot of trouble. Now you're declaring war on the Divine O clan. Are you sure you want to do this? Zhong Xian stood up and gently played with the dagger in his hand. He spun it in the air with a murderous look in his eyes. I've said it before. If the Divine O clan doesn't hand over the Beifeng clan, I'll flatten all of you. Yi Tianyun had a cold look in his eyes. Regardless of which clan it was, nobody could stop him now. He had always been a vengeful person. Since the Beifeng clan was hiding, he would drag the Beifeng clan out. He would let the entire hidden dragon planet know what kind of existence he was. If he retreated in front of the Divine O clan, it would certainly have a huge impact on him. Besides, what was there to be afraid of? If he couldn't win, he could just run away. It was that simple. He didn't think that he couldn't defeat the Divine O clan. Regardless of their background or great clans, he would still flatten them. Zi Jinlong and Wu Yuanan looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. At first, they didn't come down to persuade Yi Tianyun. They just wanted to see what Yi Tianyun would do. After all, they wouldn't change what Yi Tianyun had decided on. Now, they were at loggerheads with the Divine O clan. This was truly shocking, but it was within their expectations. Yi Tianyun wasn't afraid of the 2 great clans, so why would he be afraid of the Divine O clan? It was just that the Divine O clan was indeed powerful, and they were fully aware of how powerful the Divine O clan was. Why didn't the Divine O clan join the other great clans? Why didn't they snatch the purple divine crystals from the purple flame race? The reason was obvious. The Divine O clan probably had similar resources. As long as there were suitable resources for him, he wouldn't be interested in the purple divine crystals of the purple flame race. No matter what, having a crystal stone that matched one's own attribute was the best choice. The purple divine crystal was basically used by the purple flame race or some ice attribute cultivators, as its effects were the best. The Divine O clan didn't cultivate the ice attribute, but the light attribute. It was not that the 2 attributes were incompatible, but their compatibility was not very good. They would not settle for second best. You've got guts, huh? Zhong Xindao jumped down from the palace and said indifferently, it seems like you think that you're the strongest just because you killed 2 pieces of trash. You're not even afraid of the Divine O clan? You killed them with the help of the Purple Flame race and the Wu clan. What's the matter now? Are the Purple Flame race and the Wu clan going to join us? Zhong Xindao was like the other cultivators. He didn't believe that Yi Tianyun could kill 2 veteran supremes, especially when he was only at the early phase. However, he didn't know what method Yi Tianyun used to successfully sneak an attack on the veteran supremes. The purple gold dragon and Wu Yuanan looked indifferent and looked at Yi Tianyun. This will depend on guest Yi. If he's willing, we can attack together. The purple gold dragon chose to support Yi Tianyun. Wu Yuanan and Yi Tianyun chose to support Yi Tianyun. They had supported Yi Tianyun previously, and they were no exception now, even if the other party was the Divine O clan. They had witnessed Yi Tianyun's power, and felt that supporting Yi Tianyun was the right thing to do. Zhong Xindao's eyes darkened. He didn't expect that the patriarchs of these 2 great clans would choose to support the hothead Yi Tianyun. Did they not respect the Divine O clan? It could be said that even if the Purple Flame race and the Wu clan joined forces, they might not be able to deal with the Divine O clan. However, the fact that these 2 clans supported Yi Tianyun surprised him. What kind of magic did Yi Tianyun have to make them support him so much? According to the description of the remaining disciples of the North Peak clan, Yi Tianyun was capable, but he relied on the Purple Flame race and the Wu clan to kill the North Peak Supremes. That was the reason why Zhong Xian thought so. Thank you, both of you. I can do it myself. I've always been a loner, and my actions have nothing to do with them. They are my own actions. Yi Tianyun wouldn't drag these two clans into this. He could handle it himself. Moreover, they didn't need to make a move in the first place. He stared at Zhong Xindao and said, "It seems like you've been completely deceived by the North Peak clan. I'm relying on these two clans to deal with you. If you really want to put it that way, you can think of it that way. However, I killed both of them. I think they're doing this to kill me with a borrowed knife. They want to use the Divine Oak clan to deal with me. That's quite a big move. They'd rather rely on the Divine Oak clan as a dog than to give up resources. It seems like they really want revenge." Yi Tianyun roughly understood what was going on. It was obvious that the North Peak clan was deceiving him and wanted to kill him with a borrowed knife. The North Peak clan definitely didn't want the Thunder clan to be destroyed, but they also didn't want to let Yi Tianyun off. Hence, they came up with this plan. No matter what the outcome is, the North Peak clan has joined the Divine Oak clan. If they want to deal with them, they have to deal with us first. Zhong Xindao was starting to believe him. After thinking about it carefully, perhaps it was as Yi Tianyun had said, they wanted to kill him with a borrowed knife. However, since the North Peak clan had joined them, they had to choose to protect them. In that case, I'll deal with the Divine Oak clan first. When the time comes, I'll destroy the North Peak clan. Yi Tianyun's eyes were extremely cold. How dare they kill me with a borrowed knife? If I don't destroy them, it'll be hard to quench my anger. Yi Tianyun was furious. Since these guys were so ruthless, they couldn't blame him for being even more ruthless. The outcome of provoking him wouldn't be as simple as being destroyed. Chapter 2382. It did not matter what the Bei Feng clan was thinking, whether they were using someone else to do their dirty work or not. Now that he had joined the Divine Oak clan and signed an oath, it was impossible for him to break it. Under such circumstances, the Bei Feng clan was equivalent to the Divine Oak clan. Hence, Zhong Xian had to protect the Bei Feng clan no matter what. Hence, Zhong Xian ignored Yi Tianyun's words and intercepted him. After Zhong Xian finished speaking, his figure flashed and disappeared into the void. His figure completely disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. That's Supreme Concealed God's lost technique. Supreme Concealed God's concealment technique is top-notch. He often kills people without them noticing. If you're not careful, you'll be ambushed. He's in trouble now. Sovereign Concealed Spirit is much stronger than the other Supremes. Compared to the Lightning Supremacy, he's even stronger. Zhong Xian was his real name. He was also known as Supreme Concealed God. He was extremely good at concealing himself. Even opponents of the same level as him could not detect him. They would only notice him when he was close to them. Under such a cultivation state, if they were close to him, they would be at a disadvantage in a fight. If they were not careful, they would be attacked. The Gold Dragon and the others focused their gazes and quickly looked around to help find Zhong Xian's position. After scanning for a while, they realized that their spiritual senses could not detect Zhong Xian's position at all. If it was so easy to detect him, Zhong Xian would not be called Supreme Concealed God. It possessed an extremely powerful concealment ability. This was his strongest move. This is troublesome. The Gold Dragon and the others' faces darkened. Although he would not attack them, they were worried that Yi Tianyun would not be able to withstand it. Yi Tianyun was not weak. However, against such a concealment technique, it was hard to say what would happen if he launched a sneak attack. Yi Tianyun's expression was calm. He was not worried about the concealed Supreme Concealed God at all. Just when everyone thought that Yi Tianyun was completely in a passive state, he suddenly moved and kicked forward fiercely. The void trembled, and an arc of light burst out and landed in front of him. Boom! Accompanied by a loud sound, a figure was sent flying. It crashed into dozens of palaces before stopping. Crash! A ray of light rushed out, and Zhong Xian's battered and exhausted figure flew out. Zhong Xian was in an extremely sorry state. That kick had caved in his abdomen, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. It was obvious that he had suffered serious injuries. Zhong Xian was more shocked than anything else. He did not expect that even though he had concealed himself, he would still be found by the other party. Moreover, he was found so accurately. Zhong Xian was not the only one who was shocked. Even the others were dumbstruck when they saw this scene. This was a concealed spirit supremacy. Most of the time, her figure would only be exposed when she attacked first, instead of being found by Yi Tianyun. Now, Yi Tianyun had found him and sent him flying with a kick. Under normal circumstances, when experts fought, they would want nothing more than to kill their opponent with a single move. Yi Tianyun didn't do that. If he had used a weapon, Zhong Xian would have been seriously injured. Who knew that Yi Tianyun would choose to attack normally instead of doing so? Under such circumstances, it was either a fluke, or he had really found Zhong Xian's figure. Did he really see me, or was it a fluke? I'm afraid it was a fluke, or he sensed it based on some sort of intuition. Otherwise, how could he have launched such a simple attack? Can a fluke be so accurate? We can only wait and see if he can hit again next time. They did not believe that Yi Tianyun could accurately find Zhong Xian's position. There were so many people present, but none of them could sense Zhong Xian's position. They really did not believe that Yi Tianyun could find him. In their opinion, Zhong Xian had only vaguely sensed Zhong Xian's position, and it was only because Zhong Xian had been careless that he had been hit. It was not only them. Zhong Xian also did not believe that Yi Tianyun could find his position. He was quite confident in his concealment ability. With this ability, he would not dare to say that he was the strongest among the heavenly star supremacies, but at least no one would dare to provoke him. I don't believe that you can still find me. Zhong Xian's figure disappeared again. This time, it seemed to be more effective than before. He completely disappeared from sight, as if he had really disappeared. If it were any other heavenly star supremacies, they would have launched a frenzied attack in order to blast Zhong Xian's position out. Actually, this method was quite stupid. Unless it was an extremely heaven-defying attack, it would be self-defeating. Fierce attacks would only make Zhong Xian hide even deeper. Otherwise, if he could force him out with just a casual attack, he would not be a concealed spirit supremacy. Yi Tianyun swept his gaze across, and the corners of his mouth curled into a disdainful smile. Zhong Xian's figure had nowhere to hide in front of him. Concealed spirit supremacy? He was completely exposed under the probing eye. This extremely powerful move in the eyes of others was just trash in front of him. He could still see Zhong Xian cautiously approaching him. His eyes were like the eyes of an eagle, closely watching his every move. As long as he made a move, Zhong Xian would immediately choose to dodge. This situation looked somewhat comical. Unfortunately, he was the only one who could see it. The others could only foolishly look around, unable to see anything. Yi Tianyun remained motionless, and just watched in front of him. Zhong Xian quickly circled to his side. Then, just as he was about to reach him, he suddenly attacked. The dagger in his hand stabbed straight at him. However, it was not aimed at his head, but at his body. Zhong Xian did not want to kill him so quickly. He wanted to play around and vent his anger first. Unexpectedly, at the same time he rushed over, Yi Tianyun also moved. His body pressed down, and the 9-colored dragon power condensed on his feet. He flipped over and suddenly stomped on the ground. With a boom, an extremely violent stomp pressed down. Following that, Zhong Xian's figure was once again sent flying. After continuously smashing through dozens of palaces, he barely managed to stop. The damage this time was even more powerful than before. He hit me again? They were dumbfounded. If the first time was a fluke, then what about the second time? If they still believed that it was a fluke, then they would really be fools. Crash. Cough, cough, cough. Zhong Xian flew up, coughing continuously, and coughed up quite a lot of blood. This kick had caused quite a lot of damage to him. However, he did not die. He was only injured, and he could still move. You're quite durable. Please continue your performance. Yi Tianyun extended his hand, indicating for him to continue hiding. There was a faint smile on his face, but in the eyes of the others, they felt a chill in their hearts. Chapter 2383. Yi Tianyun can be said to be invincible, this kind of concealment ability, unless one is strong enough to defy the heavens, otherwise there is no way to hide in front of him. Zhong Xian's concealment ability was not bad, but it was clearly not beyond what he could accept. Zhong Xian was shocked to the extreme. He had not expected Yi Tianyun to be able to see through his actions. His strongest killing move was this concealment ability. Now that he had lost it, how could he fight? It could be said that without this concealment ability, his battle strength would be reduced by at least half. He had always been focusing on this ability. Once this ability lost its corresponding effect, it would end in failure. He was too obsessed with this concealment ability. In his opinion, as long as his opponent could not detect him, he would definitely be in a position of absolute victory. But once he was seen through, it would all be over. It was just that all along, no one had been able to see through his ability. Now that it had been seen through by Yi Tianyun, he found it hard to accept. Facing so many late-stage Heavenly Star Supremes, he could not say that he could completely deceive them, but he could at least get close without them discovering him. Only when he was attacking would he be discovered. But by the time his opponent discovered him, the attacks would already be upon him, and he could only hurriedly block. This was one of his advantages. Even if his opponent discovered him, he could only hurriedly block. In most battles, he could gain the upper hand. At most, it would end in a draw. He would not be completely crushed like this. I don't believe it! Zhong Xian roared angrily. He once again concealed himself in the surroundings, and then stealthily approached Yi Tianyun. He suspected that when he attacked, his aura had been slightly exposed. That was why this situation had occurred. This time, he decided to conceal everything perfectly. Very soon, he arrived in front of Yi Tianyun. This time, he would not attack like before. Instead, he would use a relatively ordinary attack to deal with Yi Tianyun. In this state, there was basically no possibility of his aura being exposed. He was purely using his physical body to attack. It might not be the most powerful, but it was definitely the safest move he had ever used. The fist is coming towards Yi Tianyun's head. If it's a heavy punch, it may not be able to break Yi Tianyun's head, but at least he can humiliate Yi Tianyun and get back at him. Just as the fist was about to hit, Zhong Xian revealed a mocking and complacent smile. It's just as I guessed. His sensing ability is too strong. As long as I don't release any aura, he definitely won't be able to discover me. Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and grabbed his fist. Yi Tianyun's fist was actually caught by his fist. After grabbing his fist, Zhong Xian's figure was exposed in front of everyone. As long as he touched it, the concealment ability would disappear. You want to defeat me with these tricks? Yi Tianyun sneered. Zhong Xian was stunned. He did not expect that he would be seen through. Before he could react, Yi Tianyun dragged him over and smashed him to the ground. Boom! An extremely violent and ferocious throw smashed Zhong Xian ruthlessly into the ground, creating an incomparably large and deep pit. This time, Zhong Xian was seriously injured from the fall. All the bones in his body had been shattered, and his internal organs had been smashed into liquid. Only his head could still be used. Everyone was dumbfounded. In the past, it was the concealed spirit supreme who played tricks on others. Now, he was easily dealt with by Tianyun. Any concealment ability was useless in front of Tianyun. He was easily defeated. After being smashed, Tianyun grabbed Zhong Xian's head and lifted it up. He wanted to search his soul. He wanted to see how strong the Divine O clan was. Zhong Xian was seriously injured, and his soul was injured. He could not resist even if he wanted to. Thus, he easily searched through his memories, allowing him to know the general situation of the Divine O clan. You can search my memories. If you kill me, you will definitely be hunted down by the Divine O clan. Zhong Xian's consciousness was a little fuzzy. He did not intend to compromise. Your Divine O clan is indeed quite capable, but that's all. Tianyun ignored Zhong Xian's threat. He crushed his head and ended his life. Everyone gasped. He killed just like that. He was really merciless. This time, he was really at odds with the Divine O clan. The Divine O clan had such a strong foundation. Nobody knew how Tianyun would deal with it. Zijin Long and the others looked at each other. They felt that Tianyun had become much stronger. Why did he feel that his strength was increasing at a rapid pace? He was much faster than them. This was especially true for the famous concealed Spirit Supreme, who had been defeated so easily. Back then, concealed Spirit Supreme was famous. Most Heavenly Star Supremes did not dare to fight against him. He was often nowhere to be seen, and it was very difficult to deal with him. Most of them were on the defensive, so they were quite passive. Now that he was facing Tianyun, Concealed Spirit Supreme was in a very passive position. He was in a rather sorry state. It could be said that this battle was the battle that ended the legend of Concealed Spirit Supreme. Tianyun tossed Zhong Xian's corpse to the side. He walked over to Zijin Long and said calmly, "Z clan head, sorcerer clan head, I will now head to the Divine O clan. Since they want to protect the Beifeng clan, I will flatten them as well. I hope that the two of you will not interfere. Let me handle everything." In the past, when he said these words, others would definitely think that Tianyun was boasting. Now that he saw Tianyun easily crush Zhong Xian, they felt that he was really going to deal with the Divine O clan. If he could easily kill a late-stage Heavenly Star Supremes, wouldn't the other Heavenly Star Supremes be trash to Tianyun? Alright then. If there's a need, just say the word. Zijin Long and the others nodded their heads. Their expressions were very serious. Even though Tianyun had an easy time in this battle, the Divine O clan could not be underestimated. After all, the other party was too powerful. They had to take it seriously. Shortly after, Tianyun did not even need to rest. He flew toward the Divine O clan. The other cultivators looked at each other and followed him. They felt that this was too surreal. First, he flattened the Thunder clan, then he killed Concealed Spirit Supreme, and now, he was going to kill his way to the Divine O clan. In the past, who would have dared to do this? When they heard the Divine O clan's name, they would be so scared that they would retreat, let alone attack the Divine O clan alone. Regardless of whether he succeeded or failed, Tianyun definitely became famous on Hidden Dragon Planet. Chapter 2384. After Tianyun gave instructions to Zijin Long and the rest, he quickly flew towards the Divine O clan. The Divine O clan was not far from here, and it only took him half a day to reach. A group of cultivators followed him majestically. Initially, there were not many cultivators who followed him to watch, but as they flew, the number increased. After all, many cultivators were frightened by the sight of so many cultivators flying in front of them. How could they miss this opportunity when they found out that Tianyun was going to deal with the Divine O clan? They wanted to see how Tianyun was going to deal with the Divine O clan. Most of the people who had not seen Tianyun fight felt that he was overestimating himself. Shaking the Divine O clan by himself was like an ant trying to shake a tree. He was overestimating himself. Those who had seen Yi Tianyun fight did not feel that he was overestimating himself. They only felt that there was a chance. The strength of the Divine O clan was deeply rooted. It did not mean that Yi Tianyun could flatten the Divine O clan just by defeating a concealed spirit supreme. Now that the North Peak clan had joined the Divine O clan, it meant that there would be more supremes. It would be horrifying if they attacked together. Facing two great forces by himself, the odds of him winning were not high. They only wanted to witness how badly Yi Tianyun could injure the Divine O clan. They did not really think that he could flatten the Divine O clan. Facing two great forces by himself? What a joke! Very soon, Yi Tianyun arrived in front of the Divine O clan. The area occupied by the Divine O clan was much larger than that of the other clans. With a huge shield in front of them, the Divine O clan was far superior to the other clans in terms of both scale and effect. The Divine O clan was indeed worthy of being ranked second. The resources they possessed were not something that the other clans could compare to. As soon as he arrived, several figures flew out from inside, each of them emanating an astonishing aura. Without a doubt, the ones who flew out were the Supremes of the Divine O clan. The Supremes of the North Peak clan also flew out one after another. The Supremes of the North Peak clan glared at him. If it had not been for Yi Tianyun, they would not have chosen to join the Divine O clan. As far as they were concerned, this was a great humiliation. But they were willing to endure such humiliation to kill Yi Tianyun. Since they couldn't kill Yi Tianyun, the Divine O clan should be able to, right? The Divine O clan truly lives up to its reputation. Yi Tianyun swept his gaze over the 8 Supremes. Among them, 5 were from the Divine O clan, while the other 3 were from the North Peak clan. The Beifong clan also had quite a number of Supremes. Including the ones that were killed previously, there were 5. Even though their cultivations were only at the early and middle stages, they were still Supreme Being cultivators. The 5 Supremes of the Divine O clan were formidable. 2 of them were advanced stage Supremes, while the other 3 were intermediate stage Supremes. If Sovereign Concealed Spirit was included, then there would be 6 Sovereigns in total, and 3 of them were at the advanced stage. One had to admit that they were truly formidable. However, this was all within the scope of Yi Tianyun's knowledge. He had already known the details of the situation here from Supreme Being Concealed Spirit's memories. Regardless of what trump cards they had, O Yangming was well aware of them, as they were completely exposed in front of him. It could be said that he was well aware of what killer moves they would use. This was probably something that they didn't expect. They thought that they had many trump cards, but they didn't know that Yi Tianyun already knew about them. Searching one's soul was truly a good thing. In particular, one would be able to know everything if they searched those with relatively high statuses. Only by knowing one's enemy and oneself could one emerge victorious in every battle. It was precisely by searching one's soul that he was more confident in dealing with the Divine O clan. If the Divine O clan had a 9-star supremacy or something like that, he would have chosen to turn around and leave instead of coming to the Divine O clan. Even if he knew that the Divine O clan didn't have a 9-star supremacy, it wouldn't be a big problem for him. I didn't expect you to be able to kill even Supreme Concealed Spirit. The leader of the group was the Divine O clan's clan leader, 9 Cloud Supreme. His deep eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. If you hadn't chosen to protect the Beifong clan, you wouldn't have suffered such a loss. Yi Tianyun looked at the Beifong clan's supremacy and said indifferently, "You guys are quite capable. You'd rather become the Divine O clan's dogs than hand over the resources. This method of killing with a borrowed knife isn't bad, but the price is a little high. What we do is our own business. We are now part of the Divine O clan, so don't talk nonsense." Supreme Brightman's eyes were about to spew fire. She wanted to devour O Yangming's flesh to relieve the anger in her heart. "Oh, do you think they will admit that you are part of the Divine O clan? A dog is a dog, not a part of it. Tianyun shook his head and looked at Nine Clouds Supreme. Nine Clouds Supreme, what do you think? Make an oath and join us. You can do whatever you want to the Beifong clan. How about that? Nine Clouds Supreme suddenly laughed. His attitude was much better than when he treated Supreme Bright Moon and the others. Supreme Bright Moon and the others were stunned, and their expressions froze. They looked at Nine Clouds Supreme in disbelief and said, Nine Clouds Supreme, this is different from what we agreed on. They didn't expect to be given up so easily. Did this mean that the Beifong clan wasn't as good as Tianyun? He gave up just like that without any hesitation. There's nothing different about what we agreed on. Before you joined us, you made an oath that everything would be managed by the Divine O clan. I'm not breaking any oath by doing this. Nine Clouds Supreme smiled, but his smile was terrifying. Zi Jinlong and the others shook their heads. If there was value in joining a clan, they could take it seriously. However, compared to Tianyun, the Beifong clan was undoubtedly more valuable to Tianyun. If Tianyun joined the Divine O clan, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. However, Nine Clouds Supreme was really willing to do this. Tianyun had already killed Supreme Concealed Spirit. How could he let go of his anger to recruit him? If he hadn't killed Supreme Concealed Spirit, it would have been normal for him to say this. However, now that he had killed Supreme Concealed Spirit, he still had such thoughts. No one knew if he had other intentions, or if he was trying to lure the enemy. Ha ha, what a joke! Tianyun shook his head and looked at Supreme Bright Moon with a pitiful gaze. See, this is the difference between a dog and a dog. He can give up however he wants. Supreme Brightman's face turned pale. They couldn't refute him. Not only had they been slapped in the face by Tianyun, but they had also been slapped in the face by Nine Clouds Supreme. Nine Clouds Supreme probably only changed his mind after Tianyun defeated Supreme Concealed Spirit. Otherwise, Supreme Concealed Spirit would not have killed Tianyun and chosen to recruit him. What do you think? Nine Clouds Supreme waited for Tianyun's answer. Chapter 2387. My lord, you are going to open the Death's Gate? Kong Xingming and the others were shocked. They wondered if they had heard it wrong. Tianyun was going to open the Death's Gate? No matter how they looked at it, Tianyun didn't look like a member of the Death Clan. Even the inheritor of the five-colored Emperor Dragon didn't have this kind of ability. If he really had this kind of ability, wouldn't he be fighting with the Death Clan? Yes, I am going to open the Death's Gate so that we can get out. Tianyun explained with a smile. This is the method I mentioned, and the reason why we rushed in. We can rush in directly and open the Death's Gate to get out. That's right. My lord, how did you open the Death's Gate? Kong Fengshen was very curious. He wanted to see how other people besides the Death Clan could open the Death's Gate. Even in the Death Clan, there were only two people who could open the Death's Gate, let alone other people. Apart from Kong Fengshen and Kong Xingming, the others couldn't open the Death's Gate at all. One could imagine the difficulty. It's very simple. Just open it like this. Tianyun didn't continue to keep them in suspense. Twin Chlorine? Frank Niece? You still want to forgive me for my old charms? Fu Ping Fu? Na Kong Chu? Rose Tua Zien Qin Bu Fu? As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his hand and pointed at the void. Actually, he was just putting on an act. Then, a crack appeared in the void in front of him, and the surging life aura came from it. Without a doubt, it was definitely the world outside the Death's Gate. Although they didn't know which area it was, at least it wasn't the death area. They were all stunned. They didn't expect Tianyun to open the Death's Gate so easily. It was the first time they had seen something like this. Hurry up and go in. My Death's Gate can't hold for too long. Tianyun heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it wasn't like the divine jade token from before, which only allowed one person to pass. The Death's Door could allow people to pass through at will, but it didn't last long, only for a short while. A short while was enough for them to cross over. Alright, let's go now. Kong Fengshen and the others didn't care about how Tianyun managed to open it. Each and every one of them quickly rushed inside. Some elders who were unable to move were lifted up and rushed inside the gate of death. At this moment, they heard dong 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 sound. The vengeful spirits outside the barrier felt the rich life energy coming from the door of death. They all became crazy and wanted to break through the barrier and rush in. However, before they could rush in, Kong Fengshen and the others had already entered the death's door, leaving only Tianyun outside. Just as he was about to step in, he suddenly felt a sharp gaze directed in his direction. When he turned his head to look, he found a relatively complete soul body standing outside the barrier staring at him. It was very different from other vengeful spirit. Not only did it have a complete body, but its eyes also had some divine light. The most terrifying thing was its cultivation, divine star venerable. The soul of a divine star venerable. He didn't expect to see the soul of a divine star venerable before he was about to leave. Tianyun immediately became vigilant, but he wasn't too worried. As long as he took a step forward, he could easily enter the death's door. Even a divine star venerable wouldn't be able to stop him. However, this divine star venerable soul didn't break the barrier. Instead, it looked at him from afar. It even suddenly smiled at him, and opened its mouth to say something. No sound was transmitted. Tianyun, however, read the meaning it wanted to express from its lips. "I'll wait for you to come in again." Tianyun was startled. Wait for me to come in again? What did that mean? He didn't think too much about it. To avoid future troubles, he quickly stepped into the death's door. God knew if this divine star venerable soul would suddenly rush in. Anyway, it was best to leave first. After he entered, the death's door quickly closed. Everything was under his control. If he wanted to close it quickly, he could close it quickly. After it closed, the vengeful spirits surrounding this place finally broke through the barrier. Without the elders maintaining the barrier, they naturally broke through immediately. After breaking through, they madly burrowed their way over. However, there wasn't even half a figure. They could only circle around the side and leave. They didn't continue to stay. At the same time, that divine star venerable soul also disappeared, as if it had never been there. After passing through the death's door, Tianyun returned to the outside world. The world they were teleported to was neither Scarlet Moon Planet nor Desolate Dragon Planet. It was a relatively barren area. No matter where it was, at least it wasn't inside the death's door. There were so many great star venerables here. No one could do anything to them, no matter where they were. We finally escaped. They were all greedily absorbing the life energy around them, as if they had survived a disaster. Staying inside without such life energy felt very uncomfortable. Now that they could escape, they felt that they were really lucky. They all thought they were dead. They didn't expect to come out alive. After sighing, they all focused their attention on Tianyun. If it weren't for Tianyun, how could they have escaped? Thank you for saving us, my lord. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid we would have died inside. Kong Fengshen's body swayed as he came in front of Tianyun. He slowly knelt down on one knee and said respectfully, "Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Kong Fengshen, the leader of the Death Clan. I'm the descendant of the Death Divine General under the command of the five-colored Emperor Dragon." The others knelt down one after another. Even if they didn't know Tianyun's character, he was worth trusting since he had saved them. Kong Xingming also knelt down. She no longer called Tianyun Young Master E. Ever since he showed his unique Star Dharma idol, she knew she couldn't call him that anymore. "All of you, please get up." Tianyun stretched out his hand and lifted them up. Everything went so smoothly. He thought they would be rejected, but it didn't seem that difficult at all. After all, it was too long ago. Besides, he was just an inheritor, not the real body. But he didn't expect it to be so easy. He had thought too much. "It's really magical. I didn't expect you to really be able to open the gate of death. How did you do it?" They were most curious about this. After all, it was exclusive to the Death Clan. Well, you have to pay a certain price to open it. Currently, I can only open it once. I don't know how long it will take to open it again. I guess I can never open it again. It's not something I'm good at. Tianyun made up an excuse. He really didn't have the Gate of Death anymore. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.